the philosopher, what the philosopher was really trying to say. In our time, we tend to regard philosophy as a purely intellectual activity, something we can comfortably engage in from the armchair. For the ancients, however, philosophy was a practical exercise. The Stoics, for example, emphatically proclaimed that philosophy does not consist in teaching abstract theories, but is primarily an art of living. It is a serious engagement and a clearly defined way of life in which the whole of one's existence participates. Philosophical practice is not confined merely to the level of thought, but extends to the self and to being itself. It is a process of progress that allows us to become more complete and, ultimately, better human beings. It is a transformation that radically changes life, changing the life of the one who undergoes it. It elevates the individual from a trivial way of living, from the hell of unconsciousness and the exhaustion of sorrow, to a more authentic stance toward life, one in which self-awareness, a clearer view of the world, inner peace, and freedom are attained. According to the perspective of all philosophical schools, the primary cause of humanity's suffering, disturbances, and unconsciousness lies in the passions, that is, unrestrained desires and excessive fears. It was taught that people place obstacles in the path leading to their true nature because they are overwhelmed by worries and anxieties. Thus, philosophy can function as a therapeutic means for healing the passions. Each school had its own method of treatment, yet all of them connected their therapeutic techniques to a profound transformation in the way individuals perceive and experience their existence. One of the most practical philosophical schools was Stoicism. For the Stoics, all human misfortunes stem from the fact that people constantly seek to acquire or preserve things that they will inevitably lose or be unable to maintain, as well as from their attempts to avoid unpleasant or stressful situations that are, in reality, unavoidable. Therefore, the mission of philosophy is to train people to pursue only those positive things that can truly be preserved and to avoid only those negative things that can, in practice, be avoided. Below are excerpts from three important philosophers of this school: Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. If we manage to apply some of the Stoic advice to our lives, we will see a clear improvement in our quality of life. Without a philosophy to guide our work and our lives, we will constantly be tempted to give in to excuses and distractions. We will make the mistake of acting according to our moods rather than our principles. Control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak. Epictetus. Epictetus, the philosopher's slave, divided human experience into 2 domains: things that are within our control and things that are beyond it. We do not control other people, the weather, our finances, our body and health, our reputation, or past and future events. The only thing over which we can have complete control, if we choose to, is our beliefs. Yet we often try to exert full control over external things and then feel insecure and angry when we fail. Or we fail to take responsibility for our own thoughts and beliefs, using external circumstances as an excuse. Focusing on what we can control is an excellent way to reduce anxiety and strengthen our sense of autonomy in chaotic situations when they arise. Recognize that all emotions originate within you. Today, I escaped all difficult circumstances, or rather, I expelled them, for they were not outside me, but within me, in my judgments about things. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. It is not external forces that make us feel anything. Our emotions are created by what we tell ourselves. A bus that arrives late, unanswered emails, or an upcoming exam are not inherently sources of anxiety. It is our thoughts that turn them into such. Many of us blame external objects or situations for our anxiety because it is easy to do so. But the truth is that all conflicts begin within us, in our thinking. The next time you encounter an obstacle or a difficult situation and feel anxious, do not look around you. Look within. As Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about those things. Acknowledge that life continues after failure. Does what has happened to you prevent you from being just, magnanimous, self-controlled, wise, careful in judgment, truthful, modest, generous, and all the other qualities through which human nature fulfills its purpose? Remember this principle whenever something causes you distress. It is not misfortune, but good fortune to endure it nobly. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. You may devote months or even years to a project, only for it to be criticized, or worse, ignored. Yet overcoming such a failure can become a powerful life lesson and a great source of inner strength. In Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Master Yoda says to his student Luke, "Pass on what you have learned, strength, mastery, but weakness, folly, failure also. Yes, failure most of all. The greatest teacher, failure is. Do not torment yourself over trivial matters. Erase the impressions that try to force themselves upon your mind by telling yourself, it is up to me to ensure that no depravity, desire, or disturbance enters this soul. I see all things as they are and deal with each according to its worth. Do not forget this power that nature has granted you." Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. One of the greatest sources of anxiety for modern people is that they spend most of their lives worrying about everything. Countless trivial matters constantly unsettle them. It is essential to learn to distinguish the important from the insignificant. We harm ourselves when we allow our minds to be disturbed by things that, upon closer examination, are of little importance. Consider driving, for example. Is every minor traffic violation truly important enough to upset us and throw us off balance? There are countless such daily examples: long lines, unfair criticism, a scratch on the car. We gain much by learning not to worry about things of minimal significance. Remind yourself, there is no reason to postpone life. Each day would begin far better if we read the following passage from Marcus Aurelius. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, I rise to do the work of a human being. Why then am I dissatisfied if I am going to do what I was born for? Or was I created to lie under blankets and keep warm? But this is more pleasant. Were you born only for pleasure, to experience rather than to act? Do you not see the plants, the birds, the ants, spiders and bees, each performing its task, contributing to the order of the world, and you refuse to do your part as a human being? But we must rest as well. Agreed. Nature has set limits for rest, just as it has for food and drink. But you go beyond the proper measure, at least in comfort, if not yet in action. This is because you do not love yourself. If you did, you would love your nature and its will. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. Be fully present in whatever you do. We complain that life is short and passes too quickly, yet we squander much of it in pointless preparations for living later. Life is not short. It is we who waste it. Seneca, on the shortness of life. It is not that we live in an age full of distractions, but rather that we allow ourselves to be distracted. Instead of being consciously present in what we do, we remain glued to our screens, socially connected, yet not truly living. During the day, take a few moments to calm yourself. Wherever you are, simply turn off your phone, take a few deep breaths, and reflect on the sequence of events that occurred throughout the day. For, as Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Remember that time is the most valuable resource. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. For the Stoics, death stood at the forefront of their thoughts. They recognized the fleeting nature of human life and how profoundly it affects nearly every aspect of our existence. It can be unsettling to realize that we have lived a finite number of hours, and that the hours ahead are not guaranteed. Yet this realization can also motivate us to see each day as a genuine opportunity, to appreciate what we are capable of achieving, and to recognize that we ourselves are chiefly responsible for the quality of our lives. Such awareness can move us to prioritize daily self-respect, kindness, morality, generosity, self-knowledge, and mindful attention. Stoic philosophy does not promise a life without difficulty, pain, or uncertainty. What it offers instead is something far more valuable: clarity, inner steadiness, and the ability to face life as it truly is, without being ruled by fear or desire. In a world that constantly demands our attention and fuels our anxiety, the Stoic way reminds us that peace begins within. By focusing on what is truly in our control, by examining our thoughts, and by living with intention, we can slowly reclaim our freedom and dignity. Thank you for listening. If this reflection resonated with you and you would like to continue exploring philosophy as a way of life, feel free to follow our channel and join us in future conversations.